name of Allah, the most gracious and the most merciful. Dear beloved viewers, hello and welcome. I, Javed Siddiqui, would like to share some of the critical issues on reflection on action. The reason I share reflection on action because our society is suffering from neglecting reflection on action. In order to have this, we need a definiteness of purpose and life and how to develop this. If we have no aim in our life, then we struggle and we go to the wrong guidance and wrong social group. In order to do this, we need to reflect back what we are doing. And that reflection requires a really clean heart to connect with our mind, and then from our mind we need to find a way to connect it with our infinite intelligence of the universe. Okay, rule number one for this, to educate yourself. I mean right education. Otherwise, everybody have education, not education to make a living, but education to make a life, to make a difference in the world, in our society. And we must have a burning desire to do things with the full enthusiasm. Enthusiasm means God within you. You need to have this heart to be able to take part. And also, 4 different characteristics of human I would like to share and talk about it very briefly. Number 1 is our intellectual characteristics. We need to have this. Okay. Number 2 is reflective characteristic, which belongs to our heart. So always we need to connect. We need to chain these things together. And then our physical characteristics. The 4th one is our social characteristics. Then we have combination of these 4, and then we can connect with our infinite intelligence, and then we can benefit, and then we can be a good thinker. Starting from intellectual characteristics, profoundly talented people think and learn differently than others. There's no point we just stick with something which is already done, which already just following others. We need to find our own self. We need to find our position. Just like our fingerprint, God has made it different. We all have different fingerprints. Therefore, we need to have a different quality. We need to have different positions. Stop following each other. Let's go and think about creativity. And I'll give you some of the examples of the people who are really reflect, and then starting from intellectual. Advancing ability to learn and process information rapidly, and extremely we need a constant and mental stimulation. And the third one is a need to understand the world and for it to be a logical and fair. Otherwise, if you don't have the right education, you don't reflect, we don't know what is right and what is wrong, what is fair and what is unfair. The ability to relate a broad range of ideas and synthesize commonalities among them. And then we need to be awareness of our life. And then in order to study the topic and go in greater depth, we'll move on to the next one because we don't have much time. I'll just go briefly on reflective characteristic. One must have clean heart, as I said before, free from ego, pride, jealousy, hatred, prejudice, or intolerance, of course with good intention. So once we have everything away from our heart, then our heart will be clean and pure. Then we connected our mind, and then from there we can connect to our subconscious mind, and then eventually to infinite power. As a practitioner and a good thinker, you will develop yourself both professionally and personally. And the second point I would like to add is reflective practitioner is someone who, at a regular intervals, both looks back at the work they do and work process and consider how they can improve. They reflect on the work they have done, and then we have to improve it. Otherwise, we just work and work without thinking back, reflecting back. We're not going to improve ourselves, our personality. I'll give you an example of reflective characteristics, like paying a critical attention to the practical values which inform everyday actions by examining practice reflectively. This can lead to developmental insight. Okay, I'll move to the third one, which is the physical characteristics. Okay, The physical characteristics are defining features about our body. Like we say, sound body, sound mind. And the second part will be your appearance, which is extremely important to yourself and to others. If you're physically fit, then you can be mentally fit, and then we need to work on it. If your appearance is in terms of dressing, hairstyle, or any other thing, if you're not appropriate, then nobody will see you, nobody will value. I know that we say never judge the book by its cover, but sometimes, unfortunately, the society are judging us from our appearance. We need to be a figure that will stand out in our wider community and be able to add value to them. Like the first thing you see when you, as I said before, your appearance comes into consideration in our mind. If you are unfit, we cannot ask others to be fit. We have to fix ourselves. We have to find ourselves in order to implement that strategy ahead. Okay, now we'll move on to the social characteristics, which is the fourth one. It's part of human quality and the attitude you have toward other people. However, the guidance must be from the infinite intelligence. Okay. Otherwise, the law of attraction can play negatively to your disadvantage depending on type of people you hang around with. You say, oh, okay, I'm socially really good, I'm very good sociable person, but if your network is not in a right appropriate network, then they can guide you to the wrong direction. Like we say, every road doesn't lead to Rome, so we need to find a straight path in order to socialize, in order to bond, in order to add value to your society. And the positive social characteristic features can lead to a good relationship with others, both personally and professionally. And if we have a negative one, that can result social segregation, social exclusion, and bad reputation, or even dislike in the community. So therefore, all these 4 points playing together and are connected together. Conclusively, what I expressed briefly are important qualities that enable you to have prosperous life. For example, a feeling of power. Once you have these 4 characteristics, you will have a powerful mind, a powerful body, and a feeling. You'll be independent and you'll have a good self-control. Faith is the basis of all miracles and all mysteries which cannot be analyzed by the rule of science. Because if you don't have a faith and we don't have an action, then we are useless. We'll just be like a caterpillar. You come here and you die. You'll have no any legacy behind. You cannot be counted and nobody will count on you. You'll have no legacy. You got to have a fingerprint after yourself. And also the perception of problems, you have to see it as a challenge. Every obstacle you see in your life, you don't give up. You tackle it. You see it as a challenge, and then that'll make you better. Unfortunately, in our society, this is the gap. The moment we hesitate, oh my God, I'll fail. That is the moment of negativity comes into your mind. We have to be really careful who you hang around with. The person who is negative will direct you to negativity. The person who is a positive, who's enthusiasm, who's passionate about doing good things, a good thing that will benefit you and yours, and your family and your society. So I don't want to take much of your time. It was a brief, and hopefully next time I will maybe explain it more. But this time, thank you very much for listening and for your attention. Have a nice time.